the division that's being created is absolutely disgusting. Mainly created by angry, middle-aged white men who know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Cheers, Gary. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, ancient desert scribblings adhered to so aggressively, so dogmatically by religious fundamentalists that it becomes their entire worldview in a way that dull, boring Englishmen raised in dull, boring England with a milquetoast Church of England just really cannot fully understand, can we? And Gary honestly thinks the real reason that there are so many casualties in this unending conflict, the gift that keeps on giving, Israel versus Palestine, or if you want to make it even easier and distill it right down, snack bar versus 4B2 versus Christian versus Sikh versus Hindu versus Buddhist. It's ultimately, Gary, religions don't really seem to get on very well, if you didn't notice. But apparently, it's all the fault of the white man. Course it is, yeah, course it is. It's your fault. It's your fault that Boko Haram kidnap schoolgirls in Africa, ISIS kidnap Yazidis, and the Taliban shoot schoolgirls in the head. It's you. So sit back and relax as we dissect this marvellous video. I got out of bed early to cover this one, because as soon as this popped up on my feed, I was like, cheers, Gary, comedy gold. Comedy gold, this. I almost feel like this video is the whole reason the term thick as whale spunk exists. Right then, if there's any Americans or other foreigners watching and you don't know who this plank is, his name's Gary Neville. He was a competent England and Manchester United footballer. So a normal working class bloke, you know. And then at some point in his life, probably when he started working in the TV industry after he retired, he was subjected to the woke mind virus and it took over him and he became a shambling imbecile who repeats the same talking points as all of them. And as you all know, so there's no hatred in my heart for Gary. It's not Gary's fault. He's just a victim. He's a victim of this ailment that turns your brain into rice pudding, yet reduces you to a genuine idiot. You're not even a real person. You're just a walking ideologue. You're just a bag of meat with left-wing opinions, right? And you spew them incessantly. And everybody knows this is true because people like me bounce around the issues. You know, you don't know what I think until you start talking to me. But we know where Gary stands on every single issue known to man. Things that are wide-ranging and unrelated. We know where Gary stands on Israel-Palestine or gun control or abortion or euthanasia or tax and spending or university fees or central banking or single-payer health systems or climate change. We know where Gary stands on every single issue instantly without ever talking to him because he's a victim of the mind parasite that turns you into an idiot. So it's not his fault, but alas, I am forced to do what working class men always do when someone's being stupid, and that is ruthlessly mock them. Yep, ruthlessly mock them. It's for your own good, Gary. It's for your own good. I'm trying to cure you of your ailment, and this is how you do it. You need to take your medicine. You've got to be cruel to be kind. This is the equivalent of me taking a cake off a fat ginger child and forcing him to go for a run, okay? I'm going to rip the piss out of you, Gary, and you need it. You need to hear it, son. All right, let's get started.
So I've just left my house and walking into the office, waking up obviously, seeing the news last night and the news this morning dominated. So I've just left my house and walking into the office, waking up obviously, seeing the news last night and the news this morning dominated by the horrific attacks within the Jewish community just about a mile from here. And I was driving home from Salford City last night. I was driving actually to Salford City, going down a Littleton Road.
So I thought he was going to say going down on my local imam there. Sorry, Gary, I jumped to conclusions. Just, you know, when you walk, that's what happens. You think that they're the victims all the time, and therefore you prostrate yourself before them and you'll do anything for them. anything, won't you, Gary? Won't you, Gary? If he thought it would please the local imam, he would happily let him put his bowels in his mouth and then hum the call to prayer all day long. That's what they do, the mentally ill. It's not their fault. Alas, we should pity them. Gary, you shouldn't be on television. I'm assuming that's where you caught the virus, hanging out with all those lefty lovies in TV studios and at awards dinners, and now he would rim Abu Hamza. That's just what happens to them. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted him there.
Seeing 60, probably 50 or 60 Union Jack flags. And on the way back I went down the parallel road, which is Bury New Road, which has got the Jewish community right at its heart, and they're out on the streets, defiant, not hiding or in fear. And I just kept thinking as I was driving home last night that we're all being turned on each other, and the division that's being created is absolutely disgusting. Mainly created by angry, middle-aged white men who know exactly what they're doing.
Angry middle-aged white men. Yeah, that's all them, Gary. Yeah, when the Almohad Caliphate barnstormed through northern Africa and southern Spain, yeah, when they were marching through Spain, lopping off people's heads and forcibly converting people. You know whose fault that was? It was Andy Gray. It was Rupert Murdoch. Wealthy white men did it. They made them dogmatically adhere to an extremely strict version of the religious texts that they're enthralled to. It was them. Yeah, that was why they did it. And when they were bayoneting schoolboys in Beslan, that was Piers Morgan. That was his fault. Yeah. And when they blew up the trains in Madrid and lopped off Lee Rigby's head and blew up little girls in the Manchester Evening News Arena and cut Emily Jones's throat and knocked down the Twin Towers and basically committed acts of mass murder for like 1,000 years. That was because middle-aged white men put up England flags. Gary, if you were in my history class in secondary school, not only would you have got an F, my history teacher would have spat in your face. You are the thickest man I've ever seen on broadcast media, and there have been some planks on there. I think he's got David Lammy beat. I think he knows less about the world than Lambtron. And as I've just accidentally said his Lambtron's name in full, you can see an example of him knowing absolutely nothing about the real world.
If it feels like neighbourhood policing has vanished, it's not around you. We haven't seen a police while I've been here, and I've been here for a little while now.
I've only just noticed there that he doesn't even know the plural or the correct words to use when referring to the police. He said, I haven't seen a police. A police? You mean a policeman or a police officer? You don't just say, police, you human sausage, you sweaty rat in a suit. Oh, sorry, getting sidetracked by Lambtron. Do carry on, Gary.
Funnily enough, on one of my development sites last week, there was a Union Jack flag put up, and I took it down instantly. And some people might be watching this and think,
what a wanker. That's what we're thinking. What a wanker. You deserve a place in the salt mines if you start doing that, Gary. You're a traitor. You're a treacherous cur, a low-born dog. You are a flag snatcher. Your own country where you were born and raised. What a rat bastard. Gary, don't make me put you on the list, Gary. Philip Ruttenham, David Cameron, Osama bin Laden. Oh, no, hang on. No, we already got him. But there's a list, Gary, and I think you're going on it.
Thinking, well, Gary, you're not very patriotic. I played for my country 85 times. I love my country. I love Manchester and I love England.
You don't. You walk. You hate all those things. You say that because they all say that. But you hate all those things. Words are win, Gary. It's what you do. It's your actions that matter. Nobody cares what you say. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. You hate your country, Gary. You walk. You played for coin. They paid you. When I was out in Afghanistan, there was a guy in the Territorial Army. Pakistani, obviously. Obviously, he was a Puma trackie. Obviously. And turns out he was an interpreter in the Territorial Army. And he ended up getting arrested because he was selling secrets to the Iranians. He was in the British Army. Does that mean he loves his country? No. People can do anything for a multitude of reasons. Coin being the main one. You played for your country because you got paid, Gary. That's it. I don't think most of the current England team love England, because most of them aren't from it, either. When you've got a name like Bukkake Sako, do you sound like an Englishman? Do you? Alan Smith, there's a good old English player. Alan Shearer. I like the Allans. That's a good English name, Alan, isn't it? Don't hear that one very often, do you? No. First, second, third and fourth in the top 10 baby list. They all start with M these days, don't they? And it's not Matthew, Mark and Mighty Moore. No, it's just 4 different spellings of the same pot-bellied epileptic warlord plagiarist. Sorry, rambling again. Go on, Gary. Finish up.
But I've been building in this city for 15, 20 years, and there's no one put a Union Jack flag up in the last 15 to 20 years, so why do you need to put one up now? Because quite clearly it's sending a message to everybody that there is something you don't like. The Union Jack flag being used in a negative fashion is not right.
How is it being used in a negative fashion? Just putting it up, putting it on a pole in a field. What's negative about that? Negative fashion would be wrapping it round a 4B2's head and then giving him a good shoeing in the middle of the street, but I don't think I've seen anyone do that. I've just seen people put them up, Gary. Hence the reason I'm making this video, and hence the reason you are definitely as thick as dehydrated whale spunk. Easy.
And I'm a proud supporter of England.
You're not, Gary. Shut up. Don't care what you say, we watch what you do.
Great Britain, of our country, and we're championing it anywhere in the world as being one of the greatest places to live. But I think we need to check ourselves. We need to check ourselves and sort of start to think about bring ourselves back to a neutral point, because we're being pulled right and left, and we don't need to be pulled right and left at all.
Pulled right and left? You're so far left because now you walk. You're so far to the left. Owen Jones thinks you're a weirdo. Gary, what are you talking about? Again, 2 minutes and 15 seconds he's been talking. He's never said anything, even remotely akin to anything or hinted at anything that sounds like it's right wing. All he said is, I went for a drive and there was some flags up. That's it. They're just up. There's nothing daubed on them. Nobody's getting accosted. Nobody's wrapped a dog turd in a flag, set it on fire and pushed it through a Puma Trackies letterbox. There's nothing. He's just said, oh, I went for a drive and I saw some flags. That's hateful. It's not, Gary. Only proper, mentally ill walkists think there's a problem with flying a flag in your own country. That is the only thing he's described in this video. I went for a drive and I saw a load of flags on poles. The horror. There's flags all over in America. You don't see anyone whinging. Well, other than the woke people, but they're mercifully rare. This is what happens to you. Working class bloke from a council estate in Manchester. Now he's got the same views as a morbidly obese, 25 stone, pink-haired, coach bolt through a fat face, upper middle class, Silicon Valley Facebook executive. It's mental what it does to these blokes. And aforementioned Silicon Valley executive has probably got Gary's cock and balls in a little jar next to a bed.
I've always said this about, I played in a football team with a group of people from Manchester, a group of people from Ireland, Wales, Scotland, but also people from Africa, people from Asia, people from America, people from Europe. And we were a beautiful team, united as one. Brexit has had a devastating impact on this country.
Brexit? See, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, you know what all his opinions are. I didn't even mention that at first, did I? Brexit. We know where he stood on Brexit before he even mentioned it. Just like I know where he stands on electric cars and recycling and vaccines, because these people are mentally unwell. Brexit. All right, yeah. You never saw British flags up before Brexit. Never. We used to just fly boyzone posters above naval frigates. Gary, Jesus H. Christ, he's thick.
And the messaging is getting dangerous, extremely dangerous. All these idiots that are out there spreading hate speech in any form and abuse in any form, we must stop promoting them. We must stop elevating our voices towards them. it needs to stop now and get back to a country of love, of peace, of harmony, and become a team again.
Total gibberish. That was a tour de force, that was one of the daftest 3 minutes I've ever endured. Gibberish, makes no sense, irrational, irrelevant, didn't outline any behaviour, any words, any deeds, any actions. He just said, I went for a drive, saw some flags, so Brexit's bad, and the real reason the 4B2s and the regulars at the snack bar have been killing each other is because of white blokes from England. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Gary, you can be an ambassador for the new left. Thank you for that. That was a joy to watch. You absolute log. Please continue to be that stupid in public places so I can broadcast it to the world, and probably I'll do more converting than the aforementioned Almohads. I'll do more converting than they did in Spain. But I'm not converting them into a religion. I'm not making them read Game of Thrones Bradford edition every week. No, I'm converting them into anti-wokeist crusaders. Because anyone with a fully functioning brain who watches shit like that will instantly start seeing things my way and not yours. So thanks, mate. Cheers for that. The man is a gift that will keep on giving, just like the Israel-Palestine conflict. Brilliant. Bringing harmony and love to the world. Yeah, if it wasn't for the English media, Israel-Palestine, they'd love each other. They'd be lubing up and daisy chaining around the pride flag in Tel Aviv, wouldn't they, if it wasn't for scaffolders from Durham. There you go. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. That was amazing. If you agree with Gary Neville, please leave your name and your address down there so I can inform the local mental institute and they can lock you in a padded cell with Gary and you can eat mashed banana until the cows come home, having long conversations with your invisible friends. All right, see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in. Toodle pip. Cheers.